Call the Ambulance. Written by Les Pringle. Read by Gordon Griffin. The moral right of the author has been asserted. Chapter 1. You mustn't push. Sorry, but I must. Can't you hang on? We're almost there. She let out a stifled moan. Sorry. Oh, God. When Mike and I collected the mother-to-be from her home, I hadn't suspected for a moment that the birth might be imminent. Her waters were intact, and the contractions were nicely spaced at 4-minute intervals. She was quite relaxed as we walked out to the ambulance, and once on board chatted comfortably about this and that, until a contraction pulled her up short. I glanced idly at my watch as Mike pulled onto the main road to begin the 3-mile drive to hospital. When a second contraction came along, fast on the heels of the first, I looked down at my watch again and sat bolt upright. Only a minute since the previous one. How could that be? I moved to the edge of the seat and tried to work out how much longer the journey would take. No more than 6 minutes, 8 at the outside. We might just make it. And we almost did. The contractions continued fast and furious, and then, with the hospital gates no more than 1,000 yards away, her cheeks puffed up, and that concentrated faraway look I'd come to know so well settled on her features. She was starting to push. I knew nothing was going to stop the inevitable, but that didn't prevent me making my heartfelt, if futile, plea for her to hang on a little longer. Sorry, my waters have just gone. She hoisted up her smock in time for me to watch the bed linen hungrily soak up the fluid, and, what it couldn't cope with, sloshed down the stretcher frame to the floor, where it found its way into every nook and cranny. I was on my feet now, and didn't even have time to consider the unfairness of it all, as another contraction brought the baby's wrinkled, hairy scalp into view. The next contraction would surely herald its entrance into the world. I shouted through to Mike and asked him to pull over, while doing my best to guide the little body into the world as gently as I could. The cord was tight round its neck, but I managed to slip a finger underneath and hook it out of harm's way when the shoulders appeared a few moments later. Other than that, it was a textbook birth. The baby girl sucked in air, screwed up her face, and let out a cry that was music to my ears. I bundled her up in a sheet and was congratulating the mother when she pointed at the window with a shout of surprise. Look! I glanced up and found myself staring into a pair of eyes pressed up against the glass. Then Mike's voice boomed out, Oi, you! Clear off, unless you want my boot in your arse! The eyes vanished, only to be quickly replaced by another pair. Mike was outside the ambulance and still remonstrating loudly. The second set of eyes lingered a while longer, then they too disappeared. Mike opened the back doors and climbed in, looking flushed. He glanced down at the mother and baby. Everything okay? Yes, I replied. What's going on outside? Oh, it was just a couple of yobs. I parked near a bus stop, and they wandered down to see what was going on. You can't believe the cheek of youngsters these days. The new mother gazed down at her baby contentedly. Oh, well, it will be something to tell Becky when she grows up, I suppose. She stroked a little cheek and smiled at the gurning face. One day you'll be thrilled to hear you were delivered by someone just out of school, while everyone off the number 26 bus was watching, won't you? A slight exaggeration, perhaps, but you can't let the facts get in the way of a good story, especially one that will last a lifetime. I sat back in my seat and took a moment to bask in the self-satisfied glow that always comes after successfully delivering a baby. Mike, however, saw to it that the glow was short-lived. Have you seen the state of your shirt? I looked down. At some point my tie had dipped into the fluids on the stretcher, and then gone on to smear the unpleasant residue of amniotic fluid, mucus, and blood across the front of my shirt. The woman followed my gaze.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?